Hello there, everyone, and welcome back to Good Sport Reviews. My name is Lewis, and today I've picked a topic that I've been wanting to do for a long time, and it's one that I'm sure is going to annoy a lot of people, but hey ho, let's do it. I'm going to be picking my all-time Premier League starting 11. This is something I've been wanting to do for a long time. It's something that I have great interest in, and I think some of my opinions are really sort of out there. So if you guys want to let me know, please comment down below. Before we get into the video, please make sure to hit the like and subscribe buttons. We're on 73 at the moment. Going to get to 100 by Christmas, so let's make that happen. Thank you very much. Now, let's get into the hatred. So, starting off, in goal, we have Petr Cech. Now, this one is, I think, the first controversial one. I've gone with the 4-3-3. By the way, a few things. 4-3-3 just seems to be the formation which fits the best variety of players in from the history of the league. I know in the early years, United did the 4-4-2. I know Chelsea under the likes of Conte did a three at the back system. But for me, I think the 4-3-3 is the best way to sort of bring everyone into the squad. On top of that as well, there's no bias here. There's nothing like that of the sort. It's just who I think has been the best players. And that brings me on to my first choice, which is Petr Cech. Now, Schmeichel was an unbelievable shot stopper. He was an incredible goalkeeper for Manchester United. He won an exceptional number of things with the club, multiple Premier Leagues, a Champions League, multiple FA Cups. No one can argue that. But he has 15 trophies in total, as does Petr Cech. And this is not based on trophies purely, but they do have to factor into the decision. But on top of that, Petr Cech has the most clean sheets of any goalkeeper in Premier League history, the most clean sheets for one club, the most clean sheets in a season with 24, and the most Golden Gloves. He has 4 Golden Gloves, which is the record for Golden Gloves in the Premier League. He's broke every stat. He's won every trophy. And I think when you have a season where you concede, I think it was some daft like 15 goals, and you're the keeper in that, like the focal point of it, that itself is unheard of nowadays in the modern game. And like I said, Check had 202 clean sheets, or sorry, 100 and I've got my stats here. Most clean sheets for one club, 154. Only 24 of them were kept in that one season. So there's 130 elsewhere that he still had to get, and that's an incredible number. So for that reason, I think Petr Cech needs to go into the starting 11. Next up, we have, where is the man himself? There he is. We have Kyle Walker. Now, again, another sort of controversial one. Oh, I'm just lining that up. Another controversial one, Gary Neville. Obviously, we all love Gary Neville now. We all know how good of a player he was and everything he won. But there's a reason for this. So Neville himself has said that he wanted to retire at the age of 33. He said he couldn't keep up with it, his legs couldn't keep up, and he got persuaded to stay at United for another year by Sir Alex Ferguson, where he then retired at the age of 34. Walker's that age now, and he's still playing the best football of his career. He is so fast. He's been part of the City team, which has won 100 points. He's been part of the City team, which won the quadruple treble. Domestic treble. He's been part of the team that won the treble, 3 Premier Leagues in a row, a Champions League. Neville's accomplishments are fantastic, and there's no doubt that they're sort of neck and neck. But I'm just giving Walker the edge based on the fact of what he's accomplished in such a short period of time compared to Gary Neville, who did it in a long period of time. And on top of that as well, I think Walker's more poised to have a longer career. He's still at the best club in the world right now at the age of 34, and he's still the starting right back. So that tells you all you need to know, really. Physically, just a monster. And to be part of those winning teams, like I said, the Centurions, the domestic treble, the treble, it's fantastic. Next up, we have the centre back positions, and there's going to be no controversy here. Controversy. I can't speak to them. Sorry. We have Rio Ferdinand, and then alongside him, we of course have John Terry. Now, I've seen pretty much this answer picked every time the squad gets selected. I've seen a few people put Jaap Stam in there, understandably. I've seen a few people put Nemanja Vidic in there. I just think Ferdinand for me is the modern day centre back then. His composure on the ball, his distribution, his pace and energy. Rio Ferdinand, when he went to Man United, was touted as this. There was just no doubt that he was going to do brilliant. That's exactly what he did. He won everything you could win at Manchester United, and he was a leader at the back. He was a leader without the armband. And I think losing Yap Stam to then bring Ferdinand in even was just a huge win for Manchester United. They have such a good history of picking centre backs, or they did at least. And back then, there was just no misses. And Ferdinand was just an exceptional player. 6 Premier League, 1 Champions League, multiple domestic trophies. Superb. And John Terry, I mean, he speaks for himself. Controversy aside, off the pitch as a player, there's no one better centre back wise in the Premier League. 5 FA Cups, a Champions League, 5 Premier Leagues, two of which were won 10 years apart. He won one with Jose Mourinho. 10 years later, he wins another with Jose Mourinho. He's been part of a Chelsea team which had the best defence in a season. He's been played in the Champions League over 100 times. He's been involved in some of the greatest moments in Premier League history. He's just the best centre back the league has ever produced. And speaking of the best player that the league's ever produced, Ashley Cole at left back. There's no debate about it. I mean, if you look at some of the other people who are on the list, as Pilaqueta, yeah, fantastic player, no doubt about it. João Cancelo didn't do enough. Patrice Evra, you could maybe say you're in with a shout with him. You had like the Dennis Irwin there, of course, but for me, I just think Ashley Cole is the best left back the league has ever seen, and arguably the best left back I've ever seen play. Internationally, he dominated players. He dominated Ronaldo. He's played every big team and he's basically won the challenge every time. He's just unbelievable. The trophies at Chelsea didn't actually win too much. I don't know that about it. Ashley Cole is the best left back the league's had. There's a few other great ones there, but yeah, I think Ashley Cole. Next up, in the CDM position or the furthest back midfielder, and midfield is without a doubt the most tough positions to pick in this starting 11. There's a lot of fantastic players here, but our first one is going to be Roy Keane. Now, I've been watching a lot of Roy Keane recently. He's obviously been on Sky quite a lot. He's the pundit there, he goes through a lot of his history, and I've been watching a lot of previous interviews with him and watching clips and games of him. I find him fascinating. And technically, he might not have been the most gifted CDM. He might not have been the best midfielder ever, but what he offers in terms of leadership, personality, even though I say that with his goals, his tenacity to win back a tackle, he's the hardest tackler arguably in Premier League history. And having him in this team would propel it further forward. He's such a good player, but mentally he's a monster. And yes, Patrick Vieira has definitely finished out. N'Golo Kante as well. I was debating putting him in at one point, but I just think Roy Keane, for longevity, even though he had those horrible injuries, he still won everything there was to win. He won 7 Premier League titles. He won the 99 Champions League final, multiple FA Cups. You'd be wrong if you said anyone other than Roy Keane, in my opinion. I just think he's the best. Maybe not for what he does on the ball, but what he offers you off the ball mentally. Next up, we have Steven Gerrard. Now, look, I know there's the Lampard, Scholes, Gerrard debate, and just to sort of quash that now, I am going to put Frank Lampard. Paul Scholes was ridiculous, and there's no arguments that he's probably the best passer in the game. But Gerrard and Lampard, for me, offered more all around the pitch. So we'll start with Gerrard. He, he's popped up in some of the most vital moments, and he's the only player on this list who's not going to have won a Premier League title, which says just how good he was. But the 2005 Champions League, where he got the first goal and cheered everyone up to do it, the FA Cup final against West Ham with the long range volley, the goal against Olympiacos, goals against Man City, his first goal against Wimbledon. He's just every goal he scores was important, and he was a fantastic leader. he went deep at times, and even then when he did, I think he scored 10 goals in the 13-14 season. He was a playmaker, a goal scorer, just everything about him was just the player you'd want. He had so much passion and energy, and it took someone like Rafa Benitez to sort of calm him down and say, no, just play here, play this way, and he just got better and better. I think what he offers is similar to Keane in the sort of leadership capacity, maybe not to the same extent, but Gerrard's very much a lead by example, do as I do kind of player, and that's why he's in this team. And Frank Lampard, highest scoring midfielder in Premier League history. Some of the goals he's scored as well, same as Gerrard, have been out of this world. The Barcelona chip is the best, I'd argue, say, where he's on the byline, he still chips it around the keeper. He's such a good player, and Lampard, for me, of the three Scholes, Gerrard, Lampard debate, you could arguably say is the best. He's the best goal scorer, definitely, but he offers so much more. He's in terms would track back and defend. He was fantastic as a passer of the ball. His inverted balls across the pitch, to the likes of like Hazard and players such as that, were just unbelievable. And he did it for a long time at Chelsea before he went to Manchester City and then went to the MLS, and he was just brilliant. There's not really him and Gerrard. It's hard to sort of put into words because everyone has spoken about them. But one player who will definitely sort of divide opinion, who I am picking here, right wing, Mohamed Salah. Um, I do not think there has been a better right winger in Premier League history, and there has been brilliant ones. We can't deny that, but Mo Salah, for what he's done, um, has changed the Premier League in many ways. Held the record for the most goals scored in the season before Haaland broke it. He's Liverpool's fifth highest goal scorer, I believe. He's overtook Steven Gerrard even in that department. Most goals in European competition for a Premier League club. He's just overtook Thierry Henry. I think he's on 43 now, something daft like that. He's won the Premier League, Liverpool's first in over 30 years. He won the Champions League. He's won an FA Cup, the Club World Cup, the Carabao Cup. He's won every possible trophy. And he's still at Liverpool, and he still has more goals and assists than games to this season, and he's in his 30s. He's the best right winger without a doubt for me. And, Saka might one day maybe overtake him, but Salah is what he provides in terms of ability has been unmatched in that department. And maybe there's not the vastest amount of competition for him on that side, but I just think for me, he is the best one, and he's the best in the world at the moment in that department. The day he leaves Liverpool, he needs some sort of memorial somewhere. He needs a statue or a plaque or a piece on the floor up the strip on the side of Liverpool. He needs it because what he's done for this club is nothing short of revolutionary. Now, the two positions left, and these were difficult. I will say now, Alan Shearer's not picked. Highest goal scorer in Premier League history speaks for itself, but I think for overall contribution, or sort of the way they played, we're going to say Thierry Henry goes on the left. And I know that's not his preferred position, but he did play there. And the reason I've put him there is so that we can put Wayne Rooney at striker. Rooney is a player who I don't think gets enough praise in the Premier League. You never see him in the all-time 11s. You never hear about him really. But you think about what he's done at Manchester United, and he did it in worse Manchester United teams. Obviously, there was the front three of Tevez, Ronaldo, Rooney, and Ronaldo's another player I could have picked here, but we'll get onto that in a moment. Rooney changed his game, adapted it season after season after season, and even in the later years when he was playing with the worst United teams under a magnitude of different managers, he still performed. And he went to a midfield role, he still performed. He went to the striker role, he still performed. And Rooney himself has said that he did not like being the out and out striker. That wasn't his preferred position. And yet he's still Manchester United's all time top goal scorer. He was England's all time top goal scorer. He won every possible trophy you could win at Man United. Physically won the Europa League. There was no other trophies for him to win. He did that because he was an incredible player. And, personal problems obviously came to effect. Arguments with Sir Alex Ferguson, the age of which he left the league, maybe he didn't look after himself very well. He's admitted that himself. And the fact that all this was still going on around him and he was still able to perform the way he was is a testament to how good of a player he is. And Thierry Henry, I would love to put him as striker, but I think having Henry and Rooney makes more sense than Henry Ronaldo because I think Rooney and Henry did more in the Prem than Ronaldo did. Ronaldo won the Ballon d'Or. He was the last Premier League player to do it, but he was only in there for a small stint. Not small, he was there for a good number of years, but in terms of what Rooney's done, it doesn't compare. In terms of what Henry's done, it doesn't compare. And Henry is the most gifted player I've seen in the league. The second highest goal scorer. Again, he won everything except the Champions League, which he should have won in 2006. Robbed of the Ballon d'Or in 2004 when Nedved won it, I think it was 2004, 2003. The best striker the league has ever seen. Maybe not for numbers, but for what he did on the ball. The Tottenham goal, the solo goal, that was outstanding. Then he comes back and has the fairy tale story against Reading where he scores that goal after coming back to the club on loan, and it's history. It's Premier League history, and Henry is the epitome of what the Premier League was in the 90s and early 2000s. Just, yeah, there's not a lot of words to describe him, really. And that is my team. So we've got Petr Cech, controversial, I know. Walker, controversial, yes. Terry Ferdinand Cole, the established ones. Roy Keane, Steven Gerrard, Frank Lampard, Mohamed Salah, Wayne Rooney, and Thierry Henry. Now, please make sure to like and subscribe, guys. We're going to get 100 by Christmas, but I need your help to get there. We're on 73 at the moment. If you have any disagreements, if you agree with anything I've said, please leave a comment down below. I know there's a lot of players that I've missed off of this. I can think of like 10 off the top of my head, but this is just my personal selection. If it was a different formation or maybe a different time, I might feel different. But for now, this is who I have picked. Please let me know in the comments, and I will see you in the next video.